NFL teams poised to take a major fall in 2024, this according to CBSSports.com. They say the Browns are, in fact, one of them. Watson wasn't exactly lighting it up before he was lost for the season with a shoulder injury, and he hasn't been the same quarterback since signing with Cleveland. Also plays in the AFC North, the division where every team was over 500 last year. This all comes down to Watson, who needs to be the quarterback the Browns paid for. If Watson is mediocre, the Browns will be too. Quincy, again, he needs to play better. I think he's 8-4 as a starter for the Browns. It's something along those lines. And this is
funny how Joe Flacco's record gets brought up, but not Deshaun's identical record.
And it's a really good roster. He does need to play better, but I'm not sure how you look at that defense and say, big fall.
Because they want it to happen, right? Like, that's just, they're writing what they want to happen. We witnessed this all last year where people were predicting 6 wins, 7 wins, 5 wins for the Cleveland Browns, and we all thought it was ridiculous. How could people come up with this thought if they're doing an intelligent process? And the whole thing is that it's not an intelligent process. He's just writing what he wants to happen, right? Like, okay, I think the Browns are going to stink because Deshaun Watson hasn't been good. And look, Deshaun Watson can play better. Absolutely. Most certainly. But this team was 4-1 with Deshaun Watson out there. This team had a plus 63 point differential with Deshaun Watson out there at starting quarterback, which is identical to the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. So to act like this team has any signs of like, oh, they're going to fall off a cliff when Deshaun's out there, like, that would make sense to me, Dave, if this team had a losing record and then Joe Flacco came in and saved the season. Or that would make sense to me if, like, Deshaun had a 500 record as a starter, or Deshaun had no moments this year where it felt like he was playing well. But the fact is the vast majority of the time he was out there, we felt like he was playing winning football at the very least at the quarterback position, which suggests to me that he's not going to be a negative. And just not having a negative at the quarterback position for this Browns team is something that they can deal with, given how good that defense was, given the fact that Joe Flacco won comeback player of the year. And he led the league in interceptions the month he started. Like,
yeah,
this is a team that can withstand a lot. I don't know how people are falling back on it, but we predicted it, right? We were like, hey, as good as this team's doing right now, 11-6 with all of these injuries, they will find a way to predict that we're going to go 6-10 next year somehow.
How concerned were you with it seemed like, and it's kind of interesting because Ken Dorsey mentioned this in his press conference. It seemed like his fundamentals and his footwork just kind of, and I guess with a mobile athletic quarterback, it might be more, those things might tend to drift a little bit, but that was kind of what Dorsey's main thing was. Give him sound fundamentals so that in the fourth quarter he can rely on those fundamentals in the pocket.
Yeah, it looked like a combination of things. One, he hasn't played that much football, right? Like 11 games in 2 years. Well, not just 11 games in 2 years, 11 games in 3 years, right? So he hasn't played that much football. I think that does play a factor in it. And also, what he was running last year, like, the thing about an offense for a quarterback is that it's new footwork as well. And they were asking him to do a lot of 5-step drops, 7-step drops, and those drops are key to how you time up the route with the wide receiver. So I don't think he was used to doing that, right? I think he was used to moving on his own time, reading on his own time, and throwing on his own time, not having all three of those things kind of closely connected and tied together. So I think that was kind of a growing pain in the style of offense that he was in. We'll see if that continues, if he gets more comfortable doing that, or if they just ask him to do that less. I think also it's just part of coming back and playing. It's like, yeah, he's going to have times where he's played some football, but he hasn't been in this specific situation with his body, and he kind of forgot what the muscle memory was, and he's going to have to relearn it.